Welcome back. We're now going to pick it up inside of the writing screen, and inside of the text editor you have all of the same editing features that you would have in any other word processing document. So for example, once we place the cursor inside of here, what you'll see is that you have a toolbar that is enabled to you. So that means that you can take any of these words and you can make them bold. And by clicking the B, you can take the bold off. You can do the same thing for italics, and clicking again and turning the italics off, underline, and strike through. You can also change the actual color of a particular text by clicking apply, and then when you take the highlighter off, you'll see it. You can change it back to black. You can actually highlight a background. So for example, we could take this text and we can actually put a yellow background there. And you'll see that there is a background. We can take that background right back off and click apply. So you have all of the same text features that you would have inside of any word processing document. You can also bullet point, and you can take the bullet point off. Now you'll notice that didn't go back exactly the way you wanted it to, so you may have to do some editing. So you want to make sure that you can work with all of the features inside of your word processing to make your document look the way you want. And again, remember that all you'll need to do is to click the preview and test button to take a look at how it's actually going to appear to your client. Now, Aweber will allow you some drag and drop features inside of your newsletter. So what you could do is you can use any of the features that you see on the left-hand side menu by dragging and dropping. So for example, we can drag and drop a headline in here. And we can write that headline in. And we can take that box right back out. Now, one thing that you may be doing is you may be adding an image, and you can actually do that by writing in and dragging and dropping the image inside of the editor. And you can take the editor back out. You can drag and drop a video into your box. And what you'll notice when you actually set up the settings for this video, we do that by clicking inside of the video. We can actually put a video URL inside of here, and we can actually have the thumbnail to appear. So let's do that right now. We can write in the title, and then we can even determine the destination URL for the video. If we decide we don't want it, we can take it right back out. We can add in a button or a button code. And of course, if we click on top of the button, then we can actually send people based on them clicking that button to the page that we want them to go. And we can take that button right back out. We can add in our social media contact, Facebook and Twitter. And by clicking on Facebook and or Twitter, we can actually customize where we want those links to go. We can add in a product link, and this is much the same as a buy button. So we can actually edit the image. We can add an image, and then we can have it linked. We can have our button, which will send people to a page. So we have total customization over this particular product image. We can add in a coupon. And of course, we can actually write in what we want to see inside of that coupon and take it back out. And then we can add in our logo. Now again, with all of these images, we can actually size these down to what we want them to be. We can click inside and adjust them from there. Of course, we can add in our signature. In this case, we would add that here at the bottom. And we can even add in a divider. Lastly, we can add in share buttons. We can do that, put that at the bottom of our email. And this will give people the opportunity to share the content on their social media. Finally, if you do something and you don't like the way it looks, you can always go and do the undo button or use the redo button, which will take you back one step to where you actually started, and then you can have the text where you were. And of course, Aweber is auto-saving your information as you go. You can always go back to a previous version at a particular time. But the best way to do that, if you can, is to use the undo and or redo buttons. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. When you have completed your drafts, one of the things that you can do is you can actually place that draft inside of your follow-up series. And these are actually your autoresponder emails. So in this particular case, what we're going to do is we're going to start this video by clicking the Add to Follow-up series. Aweber is going to give us a message and let us know that this is going to be the first follow-up message. So in other words, when a subscriber signs up for this list, they're going to confirm their email address, and this email is going to be the first one they're going to receive. We're going to go ahead and click the Add to Follow-up series. Now, Aweber is actually going to place you inside of the follow-up area. And you'll notice then that you can now place your messages in order according to how your customer is going to actually see them. And these messages are going to be sent automatically. Now, each of the autoresponder messages are going to have settings. So, for example, let's say that we create a second and third message. And we're going to do that quickly, and then we're going to take a look at how we customize the settings. Now, we have gone to the draft section to draft both of our emails. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to move these to the follow-up area. So we're going to click Add to Follow-up Series. And what you're going to notice is with this email, follow-up number 2 comes one day after the previous one. We can actually customize this number. We can set it to 2, we can set it to 3, we can set it to wherever we want it to be. We can also have it to appear at a different time. So for example, we can have it to appear on a certain day if we need to. Or we can have it appear at a certain time. We can actually customize when this email is going to appear to all of our clients. We can actually send this email according to each subscriber's local time if we click this link. And then we can actually make it so that all of the days and times will apply to all of the messages in the list. Now, we're not going to do that in this particular case. We're just going to add this to the follow-up series. Now we have 2 messages in our follow-up. The second one actually comes one day after the first, and it starts at 9 a.m. We can now go back to the draft area, and then we can set the message for the third message. We can add that to the follow-up series, and we can make it so that this message actually comes 3 days after message number 2. We can then click Add to Follow-up Series. And now what we basically have is we have a campaign that we are determining whether or not the campaign actually works. Now, once we have determined that this campaign is actually effective, one of the things that we can do is we can actually share this campaign. And we can do that by going to this campaign sharing link, and we can choose to share our follow-ups, we can choose to share our broadcasts, or we can choose to share our follow-ups and our broadcasts. Now, in this particular case, we are going to choose to share our follow-ups. So we're going to click Save. And when we do that, you'll notice that Aweber is going to give us a campaign code. That campaign code is now going to disappear, but that campaign code now appears in this area. What this means now is that we can actually share this campaign code with someone else who wants to use the same messages in their business. And they would do that by coming to their Aweber account and loading that campaign code in this space that says use a predefined campaign code. So the messages that we are creating right now are technically called autoresponders. They actually arrive into the email box of our client automatically when they sign up for our email marketing list. Now, these are different from broadcast emails. And one of the things that you will have to determine is whether or not you'd like to write your emails and send them out as broadcasts, or whether or not you'd like to have them go automatically to your customers and your clients. So what we're going to look at next is we're going to look at broadcast emails. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. In most cases, you are going to be sending out an email to your email marketing list using the broadcast feature in Aweber. This means that you are writing the message from scratch and you are sending out this message at some particular point in time. Now, you can send out the message at a point in time before it actually has to go out. However, you are writing these messages individually, one at a time, to arrive at your subscriber's email box at a random time. So let's compose an email in our draft area. So we have now composed our email, and we're now going to click Save and Exit. And we're going to send out this email as a broadcast to our entire subscriber list. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Send options, and we're going to schedule a broadcast. Now, you'll notice that if you decide that you want to change the subject line, you can actually change it in this field, or you can leave it as it is. And in the first section, there are some decisions that you can actually make. So, for example, we can click the Edit button, and we're going to notice that you can actually produce your own broadcast archive. Now, that broadcast archive is actually already branded because we did that in an earlier video. So, for example, let's take a look as to how this broadcast archive will actually appear. Now, right now, we don't have any emails, but you'll notice there is our logo. You'll notice there is an opt-in page. And what we can do is we can share this broadcast archive just as we would any other web page. So when we publish to a broadcast archive, it's almost like publishing to a web page. And the same thing is going to be true with our RSS feed. Now, we can also post to our social media accounts, and we can do that to a particular page or a particular Twitter account. And we can do that by connecting to a new account in these areas. Now, we're not going to do that right now. We've actually already determined in our settings that we are not going to connect to Twitter or Facebook, but you can, so that your broadcast email will appear there. When you have made all of your choices in this area, what you're going to do is you're going to click Apply. Now, the next stage is who is actually going to receive the message, and this is actually going to be very important. So we're going to click the Edit button. Now, in this particular case, we can actually send the emails to just the people who are going to be on this list, or we can actually include everyone on all of our lists. And typically, if you're going to have a broadcast email, you'll send it to everyone on all of your lists. Or you can exclude some lists or include others. So in some cases, what you could do is you could include everyone in 3 lists and exclude everyone that would be part of another list. You have maximum flexibility over how you're going to actually structure who actually receives this email. Now, the other thing that you can do is you have some choices about who within those email lists actually are going to receive this email. In this drop-down arrow, you notice that you can actually send to the active subscribers. You can actually send to subscribers that have only been added since today, or yesterday, or 7 days, or in the past year. What this does is this actually allows you to send to people who you can segment based on a certain pattern, and then you can actually market to them more effectively. Once you've determined who is actually going to receive your message, whether or not they're going to be included or excluded on your list, or whether or not they're going to be added at a particular time, you're then going to click apply. Now, another thing that you can do is you can determine when this email is going to be sent. You can click the edit button, and you can actually time this email so that it can be sent at a particular day on a particular time. We can go into the future, and send on any day that we actually feel this email is appropriate to send. Once we've determined when we want it to be sent, we can click apply. Now we can actually make it so that the timing is going to be immediate. We'll just cancel this. And then we will leave it at immediate, and that is the default. Now the last two options are that we can actually track clicks on the website links in this message, and we can have email statistics sent to us a short period of time after the email is actually sent. Now what we're going to do in the next email is we're actually going to show you how to put website links inside of your emails, because this is what you're actually going to be tracking inside of your quick stats, and you're actually going to be tracking clicks, and Aweber is going to tell you how your email is actually faring with those who have received it. Once you've determined who is going to receive your email, you can actually click send message now. Now, if you have decided to send this message into the future, for example, let's move this email to a date in the future, and we click this button, it's actually going to schedule the message for that particular time. And you'll notice that message is now scheduled. We can actually go and unschedule this message if we do not want it to be sent. Once that happens, that email is then returned to the draft area. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.